2, 1, go.
Unfortunately, it's back to the apex, my friend. It's UFC Dust, episode 224. If you're new here, we're Meat Boy MMA, the best kept secret in the YouTube MMA space. But nonetheless, Meat Boy, we always start by recapping last week before jumping into this week's breakdowns. But if you're in a hurry, the timestamps are in the comments for this absolute duster of a breakdown this weekend. But last week was pretty successful for you. You went 4-1. Your boy went 3-2, but our fat meatlock streak, which was going on 5 straight, ended via what some might call a controversial split decision loss. So, what did you make of the Elva Meatlock? Robert Whitaker technically lost the split decision to RDR. Did you think he did enough to win that fight? And if not, does RDR have a chance to be a future champ?
Yeah, RDR, I mean, crazy to see that he beat Bobby Knuckles. Crazy to see that another legend is now passing, his feather cap into another fern. I think RDR is the real deal, but I don't know. He's got to go through Hamzat and some absolute savages, so we shall see. But I think he is a top contender. He's probably going to fight for the title within the next year or so, so I'll be excited to see that.
Yeah, for sure. Only Savages remain on the schedule for RDR, and I think you said it beautifully, Meepo. I think Robert Whitaker simply passed the feather to the fern, and that's how this game works, right? If you stick around watching the UFC long enough, the heroes die quickly, and Robert Whitaker seems to be the last victim. However, I think that you can make a case that he won that fight. I thought that he obviously had the most dominant round in the second when he almost had him finished, but nonetheless, we'll take the L. We'll take it on the chin because it's still 4 of our last 5. And in fact, Meatboy, that was our 200th meatlock, right? We've logged 224 episodes, had some cancellations, a couple fillets here and there, but technically that was number 200, right? We've hit 123 of the first 200, so the meatlock is still cashing at a 62% clip, which 62% is pretty much best in the business. But nonetheless, Meatboy, I want to highlight some of your other amazing calls. We both said Bryce Mitchell will get it done by decision. We were a little bit worried that perhaps there could be some judging zuckery, but it was across the board, unanimous for Bryce Mitchell. And then the one that you really nailed was you said Bumdog, Bogdan Guskov would get it done not only as a dog against Krylov, but by first round KO, which he did with ease. So Nikita Krylov is obviously done. Bumdog is back. Was there anything that you want to talk about from the event? I mean, Peter Yan took out Marcus McGee. Shara Bullet went to a decision against Powerbar, which we both called. Did anything stick out to you, or do you want to jump into the dust pile?
Yeah, let's just get straight to the dust. The meatlock dust.
Yeah, I don't blame you, but I mean, the last week's over, 4-1. You'll take it 3-2. Let's get the meatlock back on track though, and we're starting here straight in the dustbin, right? I mean, get out the broom because Rebeasty's coming back to sweep up what Chris Duncan has done lately. And I'll be the first to admit I like Chris Duncan. I think that Chris Duncan is a good fighter. I think he's a good levels test opponent for a lot of the guys he's been beating of recently, and he has been cashing as a dog. So for any of the commenters that are ready to say, "Yo, Chris Duncan keeps cashing as a dog," he's going to do the same thing here. We like Rebeasty to shut down this hype train that is Chris Duncan. Perhaps Chris Duncan's been overperforming a little bit, whereas Rebeasty maybe can argue is underperforming. Yet even at his underperforming self, he's still getting W's. So Rebeasty at 32, we think has a more serious title contention future when compared to Chris Duncan. And at minus 225, it's this week's meatlock. So, what makes you especially bullish on Rebeasty? What's the best pitch for those who might like the recent Chris Duncan success and could be salivating over another juicy dog? Why are they wrong? Why is Rebeasty the meatlock this week?
Yeah, I think Rebeasty is an absolute lock. I mean, this dude is an absolute savage, and I think the Dunkanator isn't going to be ready. I mean, from the grappling to the striking to the power. I mean, Rebeasty virtually has no head, and his arms are the size of a T-Rex. So how can you submit midget arms and a micro neck? It's hard to get choking on a neck that virtually doesn't exist. So, and I think Rebeasty's grappling and jiu-jitsu is in a whole different caliber, but his strength is where it's going to be, and Rebeasty's just going to Rebeasty him, toss him down, ground and pound, TKO first round.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff. And, Chris Duncan, we've seen him with some beautiful submissions of late, right? He's got those sneaky long limbs. He's very advantageous in those positions. But to your point, I mean, Robesti is just a straight up compact dude, right? I mean, he's got no limbs to exploit. He's got no neck to go after. There's not a lot to work with. So if your whole game plan is to hopefully get some sort of slick submission, Rebeasty is going to be a difficult guy to do that against for sure. And you mentioned the grappling specifically because Chris Duncan obviously is, he has a little bit of that game as well. But what is it about Rebeasty's style of grappling that you think will be just way too much for the problem to deal with in this one?
Yeah, I think Rebeasty's strength, his striking, his power is going to be the biggest thing, and his durability. I mean, we thought that the fight after where he lost to Ferreira, he gassed out. He didn't get knocked out. He just gassed out, kind of gave up. But he's since proven that he does have a gas tank now, so he ain't gassing this time, and he's going to absolutely maul. Sorry, little Duncan.
Yeah, not only did he respond well after that Diego Ferreira loss, where he was, again, like you said, he was dominating and then just happened to gas out and lose to a great fighter in Diego Ferreira for his first loss, right? The dude went 19-0. So the first loss at the very last second to a great levels test in Diego Ferreira, the fact that he was able to come back from that, and honestly, he spoiled one of our meatlocks. I'm pretty sure we had Meek Tebek Oralby as a meatlock on that one, and Rebeasty spoiled it. So in that fight, he at least at a minimum reminded us that he still has it, and I think in this one he's going to remind a lot of others that he not only still has it, but is going to be leaps and bounds better than the problem, who I think will have a problem in this one against Rebeasty. So we like where Tapology is at. Easy light work, 82% going with Rebeasty, 18% going with Duncan. Are you going with KO, TKO, or decision for Rebeasty?
I'm gonna go with KO for Rebeasty in this one.
KO or Beastie, either way, it's a moneyline meatlock, keeping it very simple, throwing down an easy 225 to net 100, get us back on track, our 124th meatlock overall, and our fifth of the last six. So let's get back on track, meat boy. Swap us through, though. It's the first of the non-meatlock breakdowns. We'll tackle four for this duster. Rodolfo Vieira is taking on Tresean Gore. The odds are the exact same as the fight we just broke down. Minus 225 is Rodolfo Vieira, the black belt hunter, taking on Tresean Gore plus 172, who never wins UFC fights yet somehow still has a contract. And in this one, I think it's an interesting matchup. It's two dudes coming in off some L's. It's two dudes with hype destroyed. Who do you like in this one? Do you like Mr. Vicious, Tresean Gore as a plus 172 dog, or is this going to be the fight that gets Rodolfo Vieira back on track after his absolute snoozer of a beatdown loss to your boy Petrosky most recently? Who you taking?
Yeah, man, this is such a tough one because it's Battle of the Bombs, but man, this is almost a micro lock in my opinion, where Tresean Gore is just that bad to where I think the Black Belt Hunter should win this and probably get a submission, to be honest. I mean, I can't imagine Tresean Gore being better than Fluffy. He's the only guy that's ever submit this guy, so I think this is gonna be a one-sided mauling. But would not surprise me if somehow Rodolfo Vieira fumbled this just like he did against the Spartan.
Yeah, I think you summarized it perfectly. Like, there's always the Rodolfo Vieira fumble factor. I mean, you have to account for that when making any sort of wager on the black belt hunter. But I just think the fumble factor is a little bit lower when taking on a guy like Tresean Gore, who really only has one way to beat you, right? He's picking up YOLO submissions recently, right? Antonio Tricoli, truly awful, somehow got submitted by Gore. Same thing, Josh Fremd got submitted by Gore. So it's like if Tresean Gore is only picking up YOLO subs, then I think the fumble factor is minimum against a guy like Rodolfo Vieira, who is obviously that's his whole game is the top pressure, the submission arsenal. If he somehow goes and gets submitted by Mr. Vicious, then I think his walking papers will be served while he's still in the octagon. But like you said, this entire card is essentially, I think a lot of losers get cut in this one, and in this one, I like the verbiage you used. I think it's a micro lock for Vieira. I'd be surprised if Tresean Gore wins not only this fight but wins any fight in the UFC going forward. So I'm gonna go Vieira. I'm gonna go by. I mean, is there any life for Vieira decision? Like maybe this is such bum on bum violence that perhaps Tresean Gore can survive 15 minutes. Is there any world where Tresean Gore goes the distance?
No, no chance.
Yeah, I buy that for sure. Let's go Rodolfo Vieira by finish some capacity. Let's move forward though, me boy, because I can't give you much more on Tresean Gore versus Rodolfo Vieira. It is what it is. Swap us through though, because this one at least has two OGs, right? We got Neil Magny, a plus 154 dog, taking on minus 200. And I think what jumps out to me about this fight is these guys have 51 UFC fights in total, right? 34 total fights for Neil Magny, seven and UFC fights specifically. 34 UFC fights for Magny, 17 UFC fights for Elizio, over 51 total fights, and these dudes are buried barely on the main card of an Apex Duster. So kind of shows you, I think, how the UFC feels about these two fighters at this point in their career. However, we can give them with a little bit more respect, given that these are two OGs, and at one point Neil Magny was beating a lot of sick guys. At one point, Dos Santos was doing the same. I mean, Dos Santos is the only dude I can think of besides Poetan that was able to absolutely put the lights out of Sean Strickland. So there's some good things historically for both men. It's been rough lately though, and difficult to sell either as serious contenders, right? Because Dos Santos just got absolutely smoked by Chitty, bang bang, easy light work, and Neil Magny hasn't seen a second round in almost 2 years. So in this one, it's battle of the. I mean, legends might be hyperbole, but who you got in this one? You taking Dos Santos? Or you taking Neil Magny?
Yeah, this is such a fun fight, but yeah, I gotta go with Dos Santos because Neil Magny, I think he's kind of on that Whitaker era where he's kind of donezo in my opinion, and this might be his last fight. He might get cut after this. Only time will tell.
Neil Magny on the Whitaker era is crazy. That's the insane disrespect, but I understand the parallel that you're making for sure, me boy, because it seems like they're over the hill, right? And perhaps Neil Magny is at the bottom, like literally just slowing down, losing all sorts of movement, whereas Whitaker just started the descent. But I understand your point, over the hill nonetheless. And if you're taking Capoeira in this one, is he gonna go out there and finish Neil Magny? Because again, Neil Magny hasn't seen a second round in years. Do you think that Zaleski will put him out easy light work too, or perhaps could this fight be more competitive, but you still don't think the Haitian sensation will get it done?
Yeah, it could be kind of competitive, but yeah, I think the Haitian sensation is going to get snuffed and finished, and probably go to Dragon Ball Z Fight Club.
Yeah, DBZ3 is this summer. Perhaps Neil Magny is the co-meet event in it. 55% those going with Zaleski, so it's kind of close, right? 45% of Tapology Timmies are still backing Neil Magny. This is one that I want to pick Neil Magny. I want to say he has some sort of life left. I mean, he did pick up that YOLO finish over Mike Malott when Mike Malott was dominating for 14 minutes, but did not have a 15th minute available. I just don't think Zaleski's going to gas out like that. And we've actually seen Zaleski have impressive gas tanks as fights get longer. So let's go with Capoeira Zaleski in this one. I do think decision is live, though. Like, I don't think it's an absolute lock that Zaleski's going to go out there and finish Neil Magny, but at this point in his career, it's difficult for me to pick Neil Magny to win a fight. So I'll officially go Zaleski by decision. You're going Zaleski by finish?
Yeah, by finish for sure.
Let us know in the comments who you are rolling with. Again, these are two OGs, so perhaps you're bullish on one of them. We aren't. Swap us through the meat boy. It's another. Is it the last one? Or are we at? Or no, we're at the co-meet. It's
Comey.
our co-meet. Esteban Ribovics taking on Elvis Brenner. Rubix is minus 280, plus 210 is Elvis Brenner. And at one point, Elvis Brenner was kind of doing some impressive things. I mean, this was a guy who picked up some pretty solid wins. I mean, he took out Guram, took out Kanan Kraszewski. It's been pretty rough of recent, though. So, who are you taking in this one? Are you going to roll with Elvis Brenner to get back on track, given what he's done historically? Or does Esteban Ribovics find a way to rediscover his hype? Because he too was on a nice win streak before, barely losing a split decision to Nasrat Haqparast, who's on a fat win streak. So, do you like Ribovics as a fat favorite, or do you like the dog life for Brenner?
I do like the dog life for Brenner. I do like Brenner in this. Brenner said 2 L's, but no shame in those L's. So I like the sneaky dog lock. I'm gonna pick Brenner on this one to get the dub.
Yeah, you mentioned the two losses. I mean, he lost the decision to Miktabek Orobai, no shame in that, and then he got finished in the third round by Joel Alvarez. But Alvarez is another sneaky guy in this division. He was supposed to be on this card, and then something happened. But it's not a bad loss for sure. And I do like your idea. I think that there could be some serious dog life at plus 210. Stylistically, how do you see this fight going down though? Like, do you see Elvis Brenner just biting down on his mouthpiece. Perhaps his blonde hair is dyed red again, similar to what he looked like after the Guram fight? Or how do you see stylistically him having the advantages over the dude in Rebeavix who is fast, he's got good hands, he's obviously got the tough and grit? What does this fight stylistically look like if you're picking Brenner?
Yeah, I think Brenner. I mean, I think he can get a finish anywhere or win by decision. This is gonna be a tough fight, tough levels test. I could see him probably getting a KO or win by decision.
Yeah, most of Tapology is beige on both sides, but not a lot of love for Elvis Brenner on Tapology. Only 9%. Basically, friends and family is rolling with Elvis Brenner. 91% going with Esteban Ribovics. I'm going to roll with you, Meatball. I think that your head is in the right place, and the odds makers, the Timmies, the public are giving up on Elvis Brenner a little bit too early. And I'm not underselling Rebovic's ability because I do think Rebovic is a tough fighter, but I think that this fight is closer to a pick 'em. And because I feel that way, I got to roll with the plus 210 sizable dog in Elvis Brenner. So let's go Elvis Brenner. I'm going to go by a close decision. Do you think that Rebovic is going to get finished? I mean, this is a guy who has never been finished. So is Elvis Brenner going to be the first one to do it, or do you like him by decision as well?
I do like him by decision, but I mean, I could see him getting a finish also. So it's really a 50-50 on if the stars align for him or not.
Yeah, I mean, he put out Guram. He finished Kanan Krashuski. I mean, this dude Ribovics has sort of next level toughness. I mean, he eats so many shots and finds ways to just continue zombieing forward. So I'm gonna go Brenner by decision. But let's see if the stars align like you say, and Elvis is dancing over his grave, so to speak. But swap us through me, boy. It's the last one. It's the meat event. It's one that literally just got put together a couple hours ago because originally it was supposed to be Tatsuro Taira taking on Amir Albumzi, but Amir Albumzi pulled out. Shocker. And now we have Park Hyun Sung taking on Tatsuro Taira on last second notice. And some might speculate, like, who the heck is Park Hyun Sung? But this kid is undefeated 10-0. He's 3-0 in the UFC with all finishes. And he's a guy who won the Road to the UFC tournament. And a lot of these Road to UFC guys are really ascending at the moment. So I think it's a great opportunity for Park Hyun Seong to show who he is to a lot of new fans of the sport. And I think that this is honestly a more interesting fight than Tyro versus Albazi because I get Albazi's higher ranked. Albazi technically has some greater wins, but I see Tyra whitewashing Amir Albazi way more easily than I do Tyra whitewashing Park Hyun Sung. So is that a controversial take, or are you two both more interested in this new main event and, like me, convinced that it could be more competitive than the original matchup? What do you think?
Yeah, this honestly might be more competitive than the original matchup. This would be a tough test for Tatsuro, but I have faith in the guy. Can't speak for I mean Tatsuro has fought some really great fighters, big levels test. Came up on the short end of the stick last time, but I think he's gonna come back, bounce back better. One it seems like when these guys fight a veteran, absolute legend, and they lose, they come back twice as good.
Yeah, and that lone loss that you reference of Tyra was to Royval, right? It's a split decision loss. Some thought that perhaps he did enough to even win that fight. It earned fight of the night. So the fact that he was in that close of a contest against a guy as high level as Royval, who you and I both respect, definitely showcases the talent. I mean, beyond that, though, he does have all finishes, all easy light work finishes, but against guys that, I mean, it's always easy to do some MMA math, but I wonder if Park Hyun Sung would have similar success against the guys that Tyra finished just like he did as well. But again, when you look at Park Hyun Sung, I mean, he's beaten guys like Shannon Ross, who is a walking knockout loss, and Carlos Hernandez, who loses every fight as well. So perhaps we'll see an absolute demolition in this one. If you're going with Tyra, do you think he gets back to his finishing ways, or do you see this fight going 5 rounds like he just did against Royval?
I could definitely see it going 5 rounds, but I could also see Tatsuro getting a submission. Uh, you know, Probably in the later rounds, but I'll probably go submission Tatsuro.
Submission for Tatsuro is your call. I'm looking at Tapology, and it's an absolute Meat Boy first. We've broken down thousands of fights, and this is the very first time, Meat Boy, that we're seeing 100% of Tapology rolling with Tatsuro Taira, 0% going with Peace of Mind, Hyung Sung Park. Add me to the 0%, change the number. I'm taking Hyun Sung Park peace of mind to find a way to take out Tyra in this one. I like peace of mind to come through on short notice and let everyone know how good this kid is, because I've been super impressed with what I'm seeing from him. And I think that the matchmaking in this fight is a testament to how the UFC views the flyweight division. They think, hey, I'd rather take this kid off the streets, essentially, who has zero name brand recognition, and we're going to give him this opportunity over the Tim Elliott's, over everyone else in this division, because the division is so dead. And I like peace of mind to capitalize on the opportunity. He's going to go out there, shock the world. He's going to win a decision over Tatsuro Taira. And yeah, I'm bullish. Am I tripping?
I don't think you're tripping, but you might be skipping on this one, because I think Tatsudo is gonna absolutely ragdoll with a greasy submission.
Let us know if it's a greasy ragdoll submission, easy light work for Tatsuro Taira, or are you rolling with 0%? You're rolling with your boy. Peace of mind comes through and lets everyone know who he is. Let us know in the comments down below. But easy light work, meat boy. UFC Dust in the rear view. Better days ahead. How do you do after this week? Are you going 5-0?
Went 4-1. I think I'm due for 5-0.
5-0 for you. I'm going 4-1. All I know is the one loss will not be my boy Park Hyun Sung. Write it down. But any last thoughts anymore?
Nope, this is a Dusty Dinkelman, and we will dust you on the next one.